Hi everyone, and welcome to the house at Pig Corner. For any first-time visitors, I'm Heather the narrator. Not a real-life pig carer, just a cute artificial voice. The real-life carer is a retired old grumpy bum, with more details on the homepage for anyone interested. The channel follows the daily routines of a herd of Guinea pig boars, who live virtually free-range, free to run around and forage by day, but with a safe pig hotel where they return to sleep every night. Today we're focusing on the two old-timers Amos and Pike, who live in the annex next to the rest of the herd. Most days they get to spend a few hours next door in an old rabbit run. And that's where we find them this morning, already enjoying their freedom and getting stuck into lettuce. It does them the world of good to be able to run around and stretch their legs, rather than being shut in all day. These two are over 5 years old and have spent their whole life here. They arrived back in the days of the COVID pandemic, and initially lived indoors in the conservatory, with trips outside whenever the weather permitted. Their space indoors was quite large, and included 3 wooden boxes joined by plastic tunnels, which are set up now in the playground area. They enjoyed quite a good life indoors, sharing with 2 other piggies no longer with us. Having come from a pet store about an hour's drive away, in the days when we didn't know any better, their exact details are unknown. But it's quite possible they are litter brothers at the very least. The front part of Amos's face is the same blend of colours as Pike's agouti markings, so there you go. The shed known as the house at Pig Corner was only built 18 months ago. So for their first 3 years, Amos and Pike spent their winters indoors, with summers outside in a ramshackle affair, made from old scraps of wood salvaged from an old chicken house. That temporary structure was in the corner where the shed now stands, and they were always free to run around during the daytime, until the arrival of the mafia rats, which roughly coincided with the shed being built, as the numbers were increasing. This was about the time when things started to go a bit wrong and we had a few issues with fighting. So by and large they've lived separately from the herd since then, although they do get to mix with a selected few when possible. Like most piggies given the choice, Pike likes to alternate between pellets and whatever else he's eating. So one pellet followed by some lettuce, then another pellet, then back to the lettuce again. The switching back and forth must somehow help with the digestion, I suppose. You may have noticed Pike's had a bit of a haircut around his bum. It gets matted sometimes, with the sticky lumps being difficult to remove. So we have to get the scissors out, and once started it becomes a case of trying to even it up so it's not lopsided. I think the grey colours underneath change slightly once they're exposed to the sunlight. Anyway, sooner or later it'll all even up and hopefully won't look too bad. This iceberg lettuce is something which they don't get very often, as it has quite a high water content. Normally they get romaine lettuce, which they seem to prefer actually. Pike's got some lovely colours in his coat, hasn't he? There's all sorts of autumnal shades mixed in there. With the hair gradually changing from short at the front to long at the back. A sort of 1970s mullet hairstyle, for anyone old enough to remember that far back. Mind you, it's not quite that bad now, it's been trimmed up a bit around his arse. So having spent the best part of the day over here, it's time to head on back home. To a clean annex with fresh bedding and a nice new box to sit in as well. As you might expect, the usual suspects are alert to something going on, and hanging around just itching to check it out. Given the chance, they'd be straight in the annex, to mark it all as their own, and to leave Amos and Pike in no doubt that they'd been in there first. Peggy B and Percy are two of the main culprits, and they're usually not too far away. Later in the day, Amos and Pike will get another chance to stretch their legs before bedtime. So ends another day at Pig Corner, and that's it for today, guys. But we'll be back next week with more of the same, featuring the whole herd rather than just the old-timers. If you've made it this far, please be sure to leave a like. And extra thanks to those who leave thoughts and observations in the comments. That's really what helps the channel to grow, viewer engagement. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheerio for now then. See you again soon.